Last year, my consulting firm, before I sold it, made $1.5 million in pure profit, and there was only 2 full-time members of staff. And the God's honest truth is, the day-to-day, week-to-week life in that business was insanely boring. And that's probably not what you expected to hear, because when you run a really lean, really hyper-leveraged consulting firm, you just have to turn up to the calls every week with your clients and help them get the results they want, but everything else is usually being done by systems and by AI and by inserting leverage within your business. And that's not that exciting. And a lot of people think when you have a bigger business, like a multi-7-figure business, that it's going to be chaotic, especially when it's smaller. And that's just not the reality of today in any way, shape, or form. Like, you can have a hyper profitable, hyper leveraged, very low time commitment to like 7-figure company in this day and age, depending on obviously the vertical you're in. Like, listen, if you're a plumber, obviously not, you got to go do plumbing. But if you are in the digital space, whether it's the digital service, coaching, consulting, mentorship, agency, anything like that, high ticket SaaS, like all of this, you have so much leverage in this day and age. And that is counter to what a lot of people think. Like, a lot of people think you need to have big teams. That this idea of having huge teams to make a lot of money is an idea that is dissipating at a drastic rate, because the reality is that, you know, outside of, like, let's even just forget about AI apps, AI software. Let's just talk about like service-based businesses, like online service-based businesses. The number of staff you previously needed to make a lot of money to the number of staff you now need to make the same amount of money is almost a tenth. So with my last consultant firm, we did 1.5 million, about 1.8 in top line. So it was like mostly profit, and it was 2 full-time people and then like a bunch of contractors. Wasn't many, maybe 5, and it was just for like different stuff. Then the company I had before that was a real estate marketing agency, and that was 26 people, because we had a call center in the Philippines, we had marketing, we had ops, we had customer client success. I had a manager, I had a COO of that company. That same company now, for example, the call center element could now be handled by AI voice agents, right? The marketing element, a lot of that, like making creatives and stuff, is now handled by stuff like Nano Banana, right? There is so much, like, because the call center was the biggest part of it, there is so much of that business where that was 26 people, and that was multi-7-figure business as well, was now, I would guess, be 8 people would run that, maybe less, maybe 6, could run that whole business, and it could scale much higher without the complexity. So like this idea of needing huge teams and complicated businesses is just totally dead at this point. Again, just touch on, obviously, depending on the sector you are within. But for the vast majority of you who are watching this, you are going to be in the online space, and that's why you're watching my videos. Is like, you could be a solopreneur now, easily making 7 figures. I mean, I had an old business coach, and he was totally solo except one VA who helped him, and he was doing $200,000 to $300,000 a month in profit. So give or take roughly $3 million a year. He was doing it as a totally solo consult with one VA, because he built the right model and he built the right systems around it to get him that result. Now, in other videos, I talk about how you actually can structure your online business to capitalize on different points of leverage within it, outside of just the leverage of acquisition or fulfillment, like the actual understanding of offer stacks and how you can manipulate them to give you more capital for the same time investment. So that's outside the scope of this video, but yeah, man, like this idea of, you know, you need to have this big team now is just totally dead. So yeah, if you want more unfiltered business advice, subscribe to the channel, and I'm sweating because it is hot as balls here in Dubai. See you in the next one.